Hi, I'm Kristi Frank from season #1 of Donald Trump's The Apprentice, and welcome to the Success Show. Today I have a very special guest with me, Donald Wood, and he is known as the Intelligent Nurse. So tell us, Donald, what is an intelligent nurse, and tell us a little about your background.
Well, my background, I've been a nurse since 1973, so I pretty well know nursing, as well as having a family of nurses, my daughter, my wife, and so on.
Wow.
So I know how nurses work and how they're thinking and everything. What we need to do is now bring nurses up into the 21st century with their skills, because we want to increase patient safety and patient satisfaction.
Well, that's huge. So tell me why it's so important in the 21st century. What's changed? Why now we need to focus on it more than ever?
One of the things that they've been doing a lot of studies that have shown that a lot of times patients come into the hospital and end up with illnesses that they acquire in the hospital, that there's preventable medical errors that occur.
Wow.
We can't have that. We need to really attack that and change the whole culture of the hospital to where we have people that can communicate well, use good leadership and followership skills and critical thinking skills to go ahead and decrease those preventable medical errors, and also to increase the patient satisfaction.
Is this something that's happening because the nurses are overworked, because the communication skills aren't there? What do you attribute these problems, why are they happening?
It's a combination of things, but number one, we do need to increase our communication skills. If you go ahead and walk into a hospital nowadays, you'll find people from a variety of countries that are there speaking. And a lot of times there's problems with accents, with dialects, stuff like this, that may go ahead and cause problems. Nurses need to know how to address that, and as a good follower, if they see the leaders messing up on something, to be able to call them and point out, this is something that we need to correct now.
Right, and be able to speak up in the right way, where you're not afraid of losing your job or getting in trouble, but really bringing up something that needs to be handled.
Much like in the aviation industry, how they've gone ahead and changed to where the captain, if he's doing something wrong, that co-pilot is expected to go ahead and call him on it and say, wait a minute, this isn't right, let's get things straight.
I love that. So let's hear a little more about your history. How did you get so fascinated with, making sure that this industry was changed?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, from having been within the nursing industry for so long in the healthcare industry, and nurses comprise over 50% of the healthcare workforce.
Wow.
Also, I spent some time in the Air Force Reserve, and going through that, did a lot of training in leadership, because the military is very big on training all of their people in leadership skills from the very bottom up. Too often in the healthcare field, we see leadership only as being the people in the administrative office. Nurses that are right there by the patient need to know leadership skills to lead their patient to better health.
And to give them the innate authority to believe that they can have a leadership position. That's beautiful.
Right, and often when you're a leader, you're also a follower, because you have people above you as well as people below you. So we need to be able to go ahead and enforce that to the nursing staff. They can do both of these things.
Now, I know this is probably a horrible subject, but do you have any stories of maybe something that's gone wrong that could have been avoided if they would have taken some of your advice?
We've seen it many times in the hospitals, and again, from over 37 years, I've seen doctors ask questions of patients that they're speaking medical. They don't translate. And one doctor repeatedly asked this patient, who was about 85 years old, if she was on any anticoagulants, and all she had was this look on her face.
She didn't know what he was talking about.
I finally looked at her, I said, you taking any blood thinners? I speak patient.
Wow. And
as one person said, I'm fluent in old people too.
Wow.
So we were able to go ahead and bridge that communications gap, because there was a communications problem there.
She had no idea what the doctor was saying.
That's right.
That's a life-threatening thing that could.
We need to know about that before that patient gets back there.
So is this something that the doctors should probably read as well?
Yes, would go good for doctors, for anybody in the healthcare field. But again, so with nurses being more than half the healthcare workforce, also nurses carry a very big responsibility, because when Gallup poll did some surveys, 7 out of 8 years, nurses are the most trusted profession out of all. Wow. Ahead of doctors, dentists, clergy, everyone. Wow.
Yeah, it's true. We assume that nurses are on our side, that they're, the doctor may be, we may look at them in a different way, but we assume nurses are looking out for our best interests.
That's right, and the nurses are there 24 hours a day. The doctor comes in, he does his thing for a couple of minutes a day, maybe in twice during the day, 3 times. The nursing staff is always there, which then brings up the next thing, is that in the intelligent nurse, nurses need to be aware of what they're marketing. Unfortunately, if you ask a nurse if she knows any marketing, she will probably say, no,
Right.
I don't do marketing, I'm a nurse. But people are marketing all the time, whether they know it or not. And if they don't know it, they sometimes do it wrong.
Okay, that's fascinating to me. So what should nurses be marketing?
Nurses need to be marketing 3 different things. Basically, their profession as a nurse. Number 2, for better health. You need to be able to lead that patient into a better health state to give them the resources they need when they leave the hospital, so hopefully they don't come back to see us again. Then with the 3rd way, for your organization. Unfortunately, there's a big disconnect in how people feel about the hospitalization they've just had. One of the surveys done by the government shows that only 68% of people would definitely recommend the hospital they were just discharged from.
Wow.
68 was a D when I went to school.
I think that's a
not
big
good.
D, and I know from being in a hospital, just having my son and little interactions, a nurse can change your entire experience of the hospital.
That's right. They need to be aware of that, and that some of the things they say come across wrong to the patients.
That's true.
There's a book out that says it's not what you say, it's what they hear, and we need to be very, very aware of that.
So tell me an example of someone who's read your book and it's changed how they practice being a nurse.
Some people, it's just such an eye-opener that the fact that they said something that somebody, a patient, would not understand it. They're just floored by the fact that, you know, well, if I say such and such, they should know what that is. And it's like, oh, not really.
Yeah.
We get patients, again, from a variety of age groups, from a variety of cultures. And, you know, living in the South, we get people from up north come down, they, of course, a lot of times look at me and go, can you say that again? Because just that difference between the North and the South,
Right.
maybe a dialect, something like that, accent that would throw somebody off, or some of the words that they use.
Do you do a lot of speaking as well, Donald? I think your message is so huge for groups of
I've been
nurses.
doing a fair amount of speaking for the National Alliance of Certified Legal Nurse Consultants, and I've also spoken last year at the national meeting for the Society of Gynecologic Oncology Nurses. And
Wow.
it's a very, very a good thing to do with us, and
I
really
think so.
had a good time doing that.
Yeah, you need to get out there and get your message heard. If you want to check out Donald's book, theintelligentnurse.com, can they also look into booking you as a speaker there?
Yes, they can go and do that. They have contact information available on there, and happy to go ahead and hear from people to go ahead and schedule a seminar, either a half-day or a full-day seminar.
Great.
Plus, we'll be able to have information available to go ahead and order the book, and also a pack of CDs. It would be a 5 CD set that will be coming out soon.
Great, and the CDs is more information on the same topic, or is it your book transcribed?
It's more information on the same topics that are in.
Right.
We go a little bit more in depth in there, some more examples, and also be talking to some other nurses and some of the experiences that they've had with that.
Well, that's great. I think, Donald, what you're doing is so powerful, so needed, and I really appreciate it, and you've been a fascinating guest here on The Success Show, so thank you. Check out theintelligentnurse.com.